kids' case because they were last seen in Rexburg. Or were last living in Rexburg.
Right.
Tylee was last seen in Yellowstone, but and so we were the ones that like knew everything about the case, and so they assigned us on that. I'm just going to tell you right now, we are going to be filing conspiracy to commit murder charges against both Chad and Lori.
Good.
And we're not shy about that. I've told their attorneys.
Okay.
His attorney keeps pretending like I've never said that. Whatever. What? But we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. But I kind of want to give you like a little bit of background of where we are and kind of like our kind of theory of how this ended up where it was. We know that this is not the same Lori everyone else knew. What's so strange to me is everyone we talked to who knew Lori before this, right? Well, she was primary president. She made quilts for these kids. She made everything fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loved her. She loved everyone.
Great mom.
Great mom. That's what everyone says. And you know, so the one thing I'm going to kind of ask you to consider is maybe something happened. I don't know what. I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But something happened, and I think Colby, the way he said it to me, I think it's kind of it's like the person who's in that jail cell is not my mom, it's someone else.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is that I shouldn't say the flip side, but I want to be clear. I'm not going to pull any punches on any defendant in this case, right? Like I've got my job to do. And,
absolutely.
But we also want the truth and the whole truth and the context of it. And Chad Daybell is, did you ever meet Chad?
So I met him once at a Preparing People. I went to one Preparing People thing, and my mom and husband and I went to support Lori, and she wanted to support Mel. So we went and met Chad after he talked for like 90 seconds, maybe, if that. And then he called me when Lori got transferred to the Idaho jail. He texted me and said Lori wanted to talk to me, and I was like, yeah. And then the second I hung up with her, he called me to ask me about bail for Lori. So I've talked to him maybe 3 times briefly on the phone, never a long extended conversation. But the first thing he said to me when he called me was that he said, Lori hasn't told me very much about the kids, so there's not really much I can tell you about it.
Right. Of course you said that. Well, welcome to Chad Daybell. So what I want to kind of tell you,
I have my own opinions formed of him.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
He's highly manipulative.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm not going to say he's highly intelligent, but you don't have to be highly intelligent to be highly manipulative.
Absolutely.
He is extremely manipulative, and I want to. Your sister manipulated him in some ways too, but the context for everything that happened came from Chad.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we have enough evidence to prosecute him, and we are. The case against your sister is stronger, but I kind of want to give you that background. That's kind of the context we see this as. Like this guy came in here, and again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, but kind of blew up this situation. And he did not care who died, who got hurt. He did not care at all. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is your sister truly believes that everything she's done has been done in righteousness.
I know.
And I know I'm kind of using LDS speak.
Yeah.
It's 100%. That's my interpretation also.
Yeah.
I think she 100%
She believes it. Every once in a while, you'll see kind of a little crack in like a jail phone call. Or she'll.
Well, you've heard our conversation, so you know that I get that she's not fully aware of what she's really done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it this way. I think she knows what she's done,
She knew enough to lie to us about it.
Yeah, but the context under which it was done was this religious, just these ideas that are out there. I can say this because I am LDS. And her phone call to her. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at, and we, but again, we're just really grateful for you coming in. And it's going to be hard to talk about these things.
Oh yeah.
We know that, and they're going to be nice, because obviously, you're not even a person of interest.
Yeah,
in
we've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And but part of what we need to do is understand when you have a case like this, it's not like just like a meth case, like, oh, you had meth, no one cares who you are. And
Yeah, there's no drugs, no alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just
But this case is
yeah.
we need to understand the context of who these people are.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of what they're going to be asking you about.
Okay.
And
I'll do my best.
like I said, I know it won't be easy. I know it's going to be a hard interview for you, but
I was wondering if you would be willing to tell me, if you're able to tell me, if there's any progress in what you know about Tylee and her death. Is there any progress in her autopsy where you understand better?
all I can tell, well,
I mean, do you have a cause yet, or is it close to one?
she is at the FBI's state-of-the-art crime lab. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deceased bodies there that they're going through.
I'm sure.
And so we're not, we don't know really any more yet. And we may never know due to the the destruction of that body. And we hope we'll find out. We may not, but obviously we know it's her. There was soft tissue that was still preserved enough to do DNA tests.
Yeah, I'm thankful you guys found them.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have ever known.
Yeah.
And I would have never dreamed that she would have ever heard them. So.
You know what? And everyone says that.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says. I never would have. So it's a tragic thing.
It really is. Yeah.
And but I just want you to know how grateful we are. I know you don't have to talk to us, and so we're just grateful that you're willing to and helping us that way. And I'm sure kind of difficult knowing like they're asking you for information that's going to help them in a case against your sister, but I guess the thing I want you to know is our whole goal is just justice for these kids, and we our hope as it comes to it. Your sister's actually made some overtures. She might be willing to talk to us.
I hope she does. I pray for that all the time.
We hope she does.
Yeah.
She actually was talking with Chad about talking to us before we found the bodies, just a few days before, and he talked her out of it, which is too bad. It would have been better for her to tell us.
Yeah, sure it would have been.
I mean, we were actually just finishing up our warrant on the day that she said that. We were just getting ready to go out there, but it would have been, that would have been even better, and he talked her out of it.
Yeah.
And then the night before, she says to him again, like, hey, what do you think about, and he uses this kind of, I call it spiritual abuse, spiritual manipulation.
Yeah.
We've all seen that guy in the LDS religion whose wife has to obey him because he has the priesthood type thing. And that's not what he says, but it's the same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm the visionary guy, so, anyway, again, I just wanted to meet with you real quick, introduce myself and Mackenzie.
I've obviously seen you.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't take any joy in doing anything that's going to harm her. I don't take joy in her spending her life in prison. There's nothing.
Sure.
It hurts to think about her being in there.
There's nothing good about a case like this.
There's
right?
nothing good about it.
Even if you win a case, like Garrett's been in court, like there's cases, even as a prosecutor, like you take to trial and you win, and you're like, even at the end, you're like, well, nothing good it's all It's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad, you know?
The one thing, I said this to someone the other day who knows your sister, is our goal is sometimes you get a murder and all you have is that murder and you just have to run out and charge it and then kind of put it together. We were able to put them in jail with a high bail and these that when she has competent counsel, I don't know if you know this, her attorney's never handled a felony before. He has never done any meaningful criminal work at all, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's lying about me, but he doesn't know what he's doing. And once we file further charges, she will be appointed counsel who will know what they're doing. And our goal is to put together such a case that they're smart enough to say, it's going to be better to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are. And make it easier for everyone, make it easier, especially, for Colby. Like, if there's someone who's lost everything, it's him. So anyway, I mainly just wanted to thank you for coming and being with us. And
It's weird to be on the prosecution and defense's side at the same time because I love everybody.
Well, it's a system. I did defense work for I did it for 5 years, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I like defending.
And and I gave me that perspective, right? Like, just because someone's committed a crime doesn't mean they're a horrible person.
So I'm so torn with all of it's such a conflicting feeling to know that this person's been good her whole life and then has made this error in judgment and got sucked into this vortex of this man.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel for her. I just have so much compassion towards her because I know that's not what she would have ever done on her own.
Right.
And so she has to pay the price for this forever. And I hate that for her. So I'm very conflicted. But I was going to ask you on the concealment, or not the concealment, but on the conspiracy to commit murder, what's the weight of that in terms of jail time? Is that a death penalty thing? Or
it is a death penalty case in Idaho.
are you planning to ask for that for them, or do you not?
We
know
sure
yet?
hope we don't.
Okay.
A lot of that will depend on her.
Okay.
And it's that's not a decision that's a decision we don't make actually until usually after the case is filed.
Okay.
In Idaho, we have a couple months, because a lot of times you file it, it's out there on the table, and then oftentimes that's a big motivator for people to get together and talk and try and resolve it. And that's what we hope happens. I have no desire to do that. Plus, once you do that, it's endless appeals.
Yeah.
I don't think the other family wants it at all, because the
Prolonged.
case just never resolves, really, in a way. Just kind of, they appeal this and they appeal that, and it can go on forever. So we're sure hoping not to go down there. No, I'm not saying I won't. If we go to trial, I might, but we haven't made up our minds on that.
Okay.
But we don't want to. I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart.
Knowing her, if she comes out of this state and realizes the weight of it, she may prefer that. Honestly, I think about that all the time with her, just because of what she's been through. I'm just kidding.
Well, I know that you know a lot more about Lori than I do, but we have learned a lot about Lori, and there's I mean, there's been some things happen in her life, I think, that have played into this.
Oh, definitely.
And but yeah, like I said, I talk of that in one way a little bit sure, but I want you to know that I have no desire to.
Yeah, I think you see it for what it is.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know how you couldn't with interviewing your.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, when I was there in Hawaii, when that the order to produce the children was served, and I was there when they served the search warrants, where the news showed up, which I was super annoyed by that. I never want it. It's just blows everything up, right? At that moment, when we saw them, because your sister can put on a brave face.
Oh yeah.
We were like, oh, does this guy know what he's gotten into?
Mm-hmm.
And because she was just very, very stoic, very like, I'm not going to say a word. And he looked like he was about to pee his pants because he's actually a wimpy person.
Is he wimpy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great if he has someone else to do something for him, but he himself is a person.
Mhm.
And at the time, we we're like, this is all her. Like, how is she hoodwink this guy? But then once we like dug into, that was the beginning as we're like starting to get facts. And as we got more facts, like, oh, these ideas came from him.
Oh, yeah.
And she had some different views on theology than like standard LDS by that point. But he really knew how to manipulate that and turn it into something even more.
His influence was there before she met him.
Yes. Yeah, we've
So-
learned. She was reading his books for.
It wasn't just his books. So it was like the Julie Rowe podcasts.
Oh yes.
He gave Julie Rowe a lot of her ideas. And so when she would listen to Julie Rowe, she was getting Chad ideas too at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Julie Rowe. She's interesting.
Mhm. I've heard some of her podcasts. When she started talking about herself in third person all the time, I'm like,
Yeah, I listen to her podcast as well, and interesting stuff. So.
Garrett doesn't like it when people talk about themselves in the third person.
Yeah, neither does Rob. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll let you get going and
Okay.
start on this.
I was gonna see if you guys wanted some wristbands to take back with you. These are wristbands I had made up for Tylee and JJ.
I'll put it.
And
That's all right.
Take them as you want.
Take them and give them to everybody.
Sorry. I'll tell you what.
If you want them,
Yeah.
we did a balloon release.
They've got a couple of wristbands for. Let's see. There's Ron, Ray.
You could just take the whole bag with you. It's fine. Just take
Oh,
them.
do you have more than this?
Oh, I have plenty.
Okay.
I had hundreds
You
of them.
can't order less than 100, so you know.
I made up hundreds for, I started off just doing them for Tylee and JJ's friends and teachers. We wear ours all the time, so just keep them close.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
You've been in it.
It's
you
an
know.
emotional thing.
It is.
It's interesting how you can, in Rexburg, those kids went there very well. But there are kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Anytime there's kids involved,
Yeah.
it's not okay.
so, thank you.
Yes.
There's not a one among us that doesn't want to protect the kids,
Right.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, well, I'll text Nate and remember. If you need, I don't know how long this, if we want to leave price down, how few days and days, and we obviously don't have that, but any breaks you need anything?
Yeah, I'll run it, you bet, yeah. I told him she's got questions, needs to ask me, or needs to use the bathroom, or we'll shut it down and
Thank you.
do all that, so.
Nice meeting you.
Oh, I'm on the wrong phone.